All right, well, let's get this thing started. Hello, everybody, whoever's on the call. Pleasure to talk to you, and we welcome you to our conference call here today. The goal of this conference call is to update shareholders and investors on where we're going as a company and talk about the new era of Nixio and many other things that are very exciting to come. Before we start, I'd like to introduce our team. First of all, I'd like to introduce you to Howard Bloomberg, who is the Chief Operating Officer for Nixio. And I'd like to introduce you to Miriam Metcalf. Miriam is the Chief Financial Control Officer for Nixio. I would like to introduce you to John Acunto. John was the CEO and President of 212. He is now the Chief Technology Officer for Nixio. Mark Gustafson is the Chief Financial Officer for Nixio. Lorian Sikora is on the phone as well. She's the VP of Marketing. Reese's Head of Social Media. And Cynthia Kesar has come on as our Chief Strategy Officer. Have I missed anybody?
Nope.
All right, perfect. So let's get this thing started. We're really excited about where we are today. One of the best things that has happened to this company in quite some time is the fact that we just acquired 212, which I'm sure the majority of the shareholders are very, very excited about, and so are we. What this does is it creates a brand new opportunity for Nixio, one, to expand on its ability to, one, procure revenue, and also it opens up new opportunities for us in software, which is where we started in regards to our expansion. Today, you'll be able to see our product, BioWare, which is the user interface we're going to show you today, which is what we were allowing people to know about, and also to show that we're moving in a different direction. We released press on that, and we wanted people to know that we've got something brand new, and essentially this product is what we call disruptive. It changes the way that people interact with technology. So that is something that we will be talking about today, and how we plan to use it, why we developed it, and we'll be talking about some other software developments as well. So let's talk about the future of the company. Nixio's new platform is, well, I don't want to say it's new. Our platform has always been convergence, but we're moving just in a different direction, and we're doing convergence with software now. So when we show you some of the things that we're doing, I think you'll have a better understanding of why we're doing what we're doing, and why we're calling this a brand new era. So a couple of things that have been new in the company. We've got a lot of brand new investors. We have brand new shareholders in the company via 212, and these opportunities also present us with some new things we've never had before. With the fact that 212 had $17 million, $18 million invested in that company, and along with that came a number of very high-end investors. This opened the door for Nixio to capitalize on these things and present ourselves to the market as a new company. The future of our company is primarily software. Granted, we do have wonderful hardware. Everybody knows that we've presented the best TV in the market. We have shown that we're first in the market literally with everything that we've done. Our BioSphere product is now selling. We have a brand new manufacturer associated with that. And we'll continue to bring out new hardware. It's not that we're setting aside our hardware. It's that we're adding more things in our hardware category as we move forward with our software. On the software side, we're going down two different paths. One, we're offering a software that we've been working on that is an operating system behind Nixio's brand new user interface, which is called BioWare. That's VIOWARE. Along with that, we'll be developing apps, which we'll talk a little bit about more, and a couple of other things I think are going to be very, very exciting. Let's talk about the acquisition of 212. 212's Play Gigabit product. We're going to be showing you a little bit of that later. And the Rock This is first in the market in regards to social media and music. It's an amazing product, and there are a number of reasons why we call it amazing. But I want you to keep one thing in mind when we're talking about Nixio as a company. We're first to market in the Genius category of a television. we're first to market in an app that capitalizes on music and social media. And one of the things that's really, really important to also remember about this new app is that it's the first software integrated with Facebook that's associated with music and social media that allows for the users of this to actually buy products through virtualware. This is the first time this has ever happened. And later on, you'll be hearing a little bit more about that from John. Now let's talk about the Nixio side of software. And I want to keep one thing in mind, and this is something that I think everybody needs to understand. The acquisition of 212 was just that. It was an acquisition. And that offers Nixio to, one, support that division of the company, and two, it offers us the ability to move forward in regard to our software development concepts. So now let's talk about our software, the software that you guys were aware of. The ViaWare software that we've created, we've been working on this for about 5.5 years. One of the things that we were desperately trying to do was bring our products together as well as other products. So when we talk about a product like this, we're talking about Nixio being first to market in three different categories. That's the app-based product, our hardware, and now our other software piece. With the ViaWare, what this does is it allows all devices to integrate all together, essentially unifying products when it was never able to be done before. So our goal was where every other company is creating an ecosystem within their own environments. We thought about it and said, well, that keeps everything separate. So the consumer may have a laptop, a television, a smart TV, a phone, tablet, gaming system, cable box, et cetera, right? So when we're discussing these things, and Nixio's looking at the future of technology and all of the different concepts and all these different products and devices and platforms, and when I say platforms, I mean software platforms, that all these different consumers are using, but nothing works together unless you're in one ecosystem. Meaning, if you're an Apple user, you use your Apple laptop, you use your iPhone, you use your iPad, you use your Mac. If you're an Android user, you're using an Android tablet, you're using an Android phone, you're using the Google Chrome operating system, right? And if you're Windows, you're using the Windows operating system, you're using the Windows phone, you're using their brand new user interface. Try to tie everything together, and then you've got the Xbox to top it off. Our concept is this, and it will always be this. I don't believe in giving the consumer what we think they want. I think the key to capitalizing on, one, revenues, and two, market share, and then three, giving the consumer, I think, everything. I don't believe that we should be giving them part of something and trying to imagine what the consumer's going to want next. I believe our company has shown that with convergence, you're offering the consumer everything at one time and let them choose, which is extremely important, because in the past, manufacturers and companies decided, we're going to give you this, and once we give this to you, we're telling you that this is what you need to use, essentially stating that the consumer is stupid. I'm sorry to be so harsh, but essentially that's where this has come from. So I digress, but I think it was really important to speak. So this is the direction that the company's going. The company's moving forward in a brand new era, and we're moving into software convergence. And as we move forward with the acquisition of 212, you will see other very unique products, also innovative, also first to market, from Nixio as a corporation that will also show you our innovation. So let's move on from here and move into how Nixio is really moving forward. We've hired a bunch of new people that we thought it was important. So Nixio's in a reorganization period, and we're also in a restructuring period. A couple of those things associated with that are we had to put the right people in place in order to move the company forward in the grand scale of this. We released a press release saying we're expanding into a global entertainment company. We are, but Nixio will always be a technology company. Part of the reason why we need to expand into global entertainment was because 212 is a very broad-scale product. Their Play Gigabit platform is huge. So we needed to support that. So with the acquisition of 212, we also looked at how do we support the talent management aspect of that. Because as 212 is designing products and they're bringing in all of these brand new artists, 70 artists we're bringing in. It's more than that, actually. So how do you manage those 70 artists and capitalize on those opportunities with that company? You have to look at it in multiple avenues and multiple facets. So we created another division to support 212 and the direction that Nixio is going because of our user interface and our new software engine that combines everything together. It gives the artists a brand new platform to deliver content to an audience that they weren't ever able to deliver it to before. So now we've got those artists that are contracted to do 212, which John will explain later, but we need to support that. Was there a question from somebody?
Somebody's not.
Did anyone? Okay. So this is where we're going on those 6 months. So let's move forward with, let me talk a little bit about the team. Most of you know that Miriam Metcalf has essentially been with me from the very, very beginning. Miriam wants to be more internal, which is a great place for her to be. That means that she can do a number of things internally when she was focused on outside of the company and trying to manage the inside financially as well. It's difficult. So to do what Miriam needs to do, we had to bring in someone else that can do outside financials and assist Miriam in the things that she needs to do. So Mark Gustafson was brought in. And I think that's kind of a very, very key relationship to the outside financial world that we didn't really have before, and you'll be hearing from Mark later. So we brought in Lorian Sikora because we're looking at all aspects of Nixio as a corporation. We're looking at how do you support all of these different entities. We're talking about the hardware for Nixio. We're talking about the software for Nixio. We're talking about 212, its games, and the artists associated with that. We're talking about our brand new software and how do we get that out to market and how do we show the consumer that we're changing the interaction and the experience that they've got. And then we're talking about the entertainment side, whereby we have these artists under here. We created this brand new division, Encore Entertainment Industries, and we have these guys over here. So we needed somebody that was very well-rounded that could come into the company and have a broad picture of the direction marketing needs to go. And Lorian was so versatile, she fit what we were looking for. And it was an immediate, it was perfect for us. So, now there's Cynthia. Nixio's always had a strategy, but when you expand in the direction that we're trying to expand, you've got to have somebody in here that's been in the industry, not just music or TVs. You need somebody that's well-rounded, that understands technology. Well, that's why we contacted Cynthia, and Cynthia had experience with 212. So we had many weeks of dialogue, and Cynthia essentially decided to come on. She wanted to make sure we knew the direction that we were going. And then we brought in Howard. Howard was a huge asset for us very early on. Howard Bloomberg is the president of KMH Associates, who was actually able to open doors for Nixio to sell product, which has been difficult for us in the past for many reasons. But we're not going to focus on where we were. We're going to focus on where we're going. So Howard opening these doors, having these relationships in manufacturing, having many, many, many years of experience in technology, Howard and I have been in talks and trying to get him to a place where it worked best for the company. And making it best for the company was for Howard to be in the company as the Chief Operating Officer, which he's been hugely and immensely a great help to me. So as we move forward, I'm going to kind of speak a little bit about these people and what they do, and give them an opportunity to sort of tell their side. Reese, would you like to do the demonstration right now on our BioWare, or would you like to move forward on the other projects?
What is slated next is the Rock This app demo, and then there are a couple of components before the BioWare demonstration. But if you'd like to start the Rock This app demo, it is next.
I would like to do that. So, everyone, I'd like to introduce you to John Lacunto. John's the Chief Technology Officer in Nixio now. Very, very excited to have him in the company. And John and I work very, 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 very well together. I'm excited to have him on. He merged into the team like, essentially like he belongs here. I love working with him. I think he's going to be an amazing asset to the company, especially in this new era. So, John, why don't you take the floor?
Great. So, thank you very much, Giorgio, and it's been a pleasure working with you these past months and in finalizing the transaction between our two companies. Just to summarize, 212 is the parent company of Gigit. Gigit has two platforms. One is the Play Gigit app that is a desktop app, and the other one is the Rock This platform. Play Gigit app is a simulation game where a user on their desktop can go into the platform and create a concert of their favorite artists. Our platform has been able, the Play Gigit platform and the Rock This platform have been able to secure license agreements with Sony Music and all of its labels and imprints, Universal Music Group and all of its labels and imprints, Warner Music and all of its labels and imprints, plus independent labels. We've also secured, because we are syncing images, we needed to secure the publishing from the majors and independents as well. So we have deals in place with Sony ATV, Universal Publishing, and Warner as well as independent. So, as part of this entire endeavor of 212 and its entities, we went out and reached out to the artist community and had them help in creating the project and then signing them on to exclusive participation agreements where the artists would provide social posts on our behalf, meet and greets, tickets to concerts, and various other items that would really help those users want to interact not only with our platform, but also to increase the fan base of the artists and their following. So some of the artists that we brought in, just those that don't know, are Lil Wayne, Flo Rida, Rick Ross, Miguel, Kendrick Lamar, and actually all of TDE, which would be Absol, Schoolboy Q, J-Rock, T-Pain, Neo, Jeremiah, and knowing that the artists on the platform would be able to provide social posts not just on Facebook but on Twitter and Instagram and other social media. Our Cume following of some of the artists that I've just mentioned plus others, as of last week, is the total social following of a little over 400 million. As you know, if you Cume the social community, Facebook came out with their earnings and their numbers. They're at 1.3 billion. Twitter's at 522 million, and so on. So our 400 million certainly represents a large percentage of the social media following, and certainly we plan on utilizing those posts to the benefit of the Play Gigit and the Rock This platforms. I believe that the demonstration video you're about to see will really give a good video demonstration of the game, some of the things that are behind the game. Just to add another little note before you play the video, I think in the back portion of this they talk about being able to take some of the avatar development. When you're dealing with a simulation game, all of our artists were done in true 3D. So we were able to actually bring back to life ODB from Wu-Tang and Eazy-E at Rock the Bell, so I think they show some of that. So the application of these 3D created avatars and their real-life movements and so on. Certainly also in the future could play a role outside of the computer and desktop and telephone and phones. So why don't we play the video if we could?
You got it.
Have you ever used an ATM card? Do you listen to CDs? Have you turned on your computer lately? Imagine a 50,000 square foot retail store with millions of products available with the touch of a finger.
The Outernet provides digital distribution, which is that all things digital would be available to the consumer: software, music, games, books.
With a digital delivery, it can stay there forever, and it's obviously in perpetuity, and there's plenty of products, and it can be distributed over and over and over again, and it's never out of stock, and that's one of the things that is exciting to me mostly.
New business in Apple Valley that lets you download music, and it's completely legal, so you can sort of pick the music you want. Stephen Reynolds introduces us this morning to a company called the Outernet.
What exactly is the Outernet?
Well, the Outernet is the first digital distribution complex of its kind. You'll be able to come in to the Outernet and burn your own custom CD.
Gigging, your music, your stage, your gig.
Everyone dreams of becoming a star at some point in their lives, and that dream is about to become a reality. Gigit is the first and only virtual 3D concert game for Facebook that brings together social media, the music industry, fashion, and gaming.
Gigit, the biggest music game in history.
Can you gig it?
Can you gig it?
This is Taking Stock on Bloomberg. I'm Pim Fox. All right, now to the merger of social gaming and the music industry. The latest game from Facebook, Play Gigit, it lets users design virtual concerts from their favorite musicians.
I mean, first and foremost is that we wanted to create a platform where the artists could interact directly with their fan. And what makes this game really unique is that the artist in that process of doing that is also creating a brand new revenue stream with virtual goods.
Mr. John Acunto.
An artist taking their content and their music, and now they're wrapping it into social. They're wrapping it into all these other elements that they need to be in such an expanded way. So between a Facebook or a Twitter or all of the other areas that an artist has to reach out to their fan, their brand virtually is going to expand outside of what it used to be as an album cover.
Rick Ross, Sean Kingston, and T-Pain are only a few of the 60-plus artists of Gigit.
You'll be able to, log on and be Ricky Rose. It's going to be real good. I'm excited for it.
Games that's really going all in the social media aspect.
Right. We're just trying to find different things that was going to make it not just an online game.
Users are in control of their virtual concerts by selecting the artists, songs, attire, special effects, and choreography.
Hi, I'm John Romero, president of Gigit Incorporated, located here in Santa Clara, California. John Acunto is a super sharp businessman and has honed his skills over decades. John is a great guy, he's got a wonderful family, and he's very gracious with his time and with his knowledge.
Can you gig it? Biggest boss in the biz, Ricky Rose. And I'm asking you, can you gig it?
Can you gig it?
Let's gig it. It's Kendrick Lamar, gigging it in right here. Gig it.
Hey, what's up? This is Peter Rosenberg from Hot 97, host of Rock the Bells 2013, and I have one question for you. Can you gig it?
rock you. Radio boy, make a big noise, playing in the street, gonna be a big man someday. You got mud on your face, you big disgrace, kicking your can all over the place, singing we will rock, 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 rock you. We will rock, 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 rock you. Radio, a young man, hard man, shouting in the street, gonna take a...
John, if you wanted to touch base a little bit more on sort of how we're going to be capitalizing on the Play Gig It app and what's coming, I think that's kind of important. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Both Play Gig It and Rock This were primarily launched as desktop apps, and the issue with desktop versus mobile is, at the time that we began developing this, mobile was not as big of a platform as it is today. And, just to refer back to Facebook, over 90% of people interact on a daily basis now through their mobile device, where 2 years ago, mobile was less than 5%. And if you rewind in your minds back to Facebook's IPO, that was one of the big concerns. The reason why it went from its IPO price down into the 20s was that there wasn't a mobile plan and there wasn't the type of mobile numbers that they have now. So, we do plan on in the next 30 to 45 days putting out a Play Gig It simulation application to be available on all Android and Apple devices. And we plan on continuing to expand the Rock This platform as well. And then really starting to kick in and utilize these artists and certainly be able to reach them where users are, which is on their mobile and pad devices. So
all right.
So that's our future plans with the Gig It and Rock This apps, and certainly we're excited to merge in and tackle some of the software projects that Nixio has ongoing, and we have a lot of exciting integration ideas and plans in merging some of Nixio's software and its engines that it's created for its hardware devices, and being able to really make commercial applications from that software. And we're really excited about that, and really think that spring of 15 can be a big time for that integration.
Yeah, and to touch on that, John and I have also been on a number of conference calls about the expansion of our platforms. That we have some very large interest from other companies that are interested in what we're developing currently. So there definitely will be some very, very exciting things coming in regards to the software development side of Nixio, and I think John's got a very, very strong handle on the future of that. So I think as a company, we're very excited about the new era of the company. I do want to state again, granted we are doing software, but Nixio will always continue to do innovative convergence in regards to our hardware platform. It's sort of the biggest thing that we do. We're just continuing to do bigger things. We're just kind of going down the road of capitalizing on that in software. And when we're looking at our hardware products and we're talking about conversions, one of the biggest things that I want to say before we move forward is that the user experience is very, very key for the components and products that we develop. So when we went back to the drawing board to sort of look at how the Vitalsphere it should be utilized and how the consumer is going to sort of interact with it, we had to really kind of sit down and really think about how that would work. So that's why I'm stating to our team here, not to our team, to our audience here, is that it's not that we're saying we're changing our hardware platform. We're saying that we're making it better via software, and there will be other hardware products to come. So I don't want anyone to think that we're abandoning what we do, because we're not. We're just headed down 3 different roads at one time, which I think is very, very beneficial for the company as well as our shareholders and our investors. So I thank you for your patience in that, but we're going to move forward now. So one of the things that's really, really important that I think a lot of people are having some difficulties understanding is what the heck is going on with Nixio, right? What are you guys doing? Why is there no news? Why is all this stuff going on and we're not being updated? Well, I want to make something clear. One of the things about our company is, one, we don't release news just to release news. We've never been like that, and we never will be like that. We plan, we reorganize, we think about what we're going to do, and then we execute. That's why we waited so long to talk about what was going on with Tool Insurance, why we waited so long to talk about the software products. It's because we wanted to make sure that once we executed, that we knew exactly what we were doing and the path that we were going down. And we wanted to have the right people in place, so once we did decide to execute, that we knew that we would perform excellently, not subpar, not halfway. We don't want to do anything halfway. We've done things halfway before, but this is not the era that we're in right now. So, that being said, let's talk about corporate restructuring. I want to introduce you to Mark Gustafson. Mark is a professional restructuring guy. He's also been a CFO. He's been a president of other companies. And we had the opportunity to bring him in. And right now, Mark, I'd love for you to take the floor and talk about what's going on in the company, our direction, and et cetera, et cetera. So, everyone, here's Mark Gustafson.
Thanks a lot, Giorgio. Just to dial back, Nixio is essentially an integrated convergent technology company. The deal was brought to me by a broker in San Francisco, and I became fascinated with their technology. And they were right in the embroiled in sort of this merger activity, which was very interesting. So I was looking at it really from the 36,000-foot level and trying to see check out every ant in the attic and point out any ant that I found, and went through a due diligence phase for about 6 weeks. The primary thing about this reorg is we wanted to sort of stabilize the, in essence, the story, because we were both a software and a hardware company. So at any rate, as we went along, I became much more interested. Hello? I think it's a background noise. Okay, great. So at any rate, I was just looking at senior debt, what issues might have been regarding warrants, why the company was in its current situation on the public side, and there was a lot of justification for the analytics for the company as a whole. So on the restructure, I basically said I really want to kind of drill down on valuation. And the long story short is, with everything ratcheted, fully diluted, Nixio's got a book value of roughly about $24 million. Their target company, 212 or PlayGigit, breakup value is about $27 million. They have actually a valuation north of $100 million. So I'm thinking, wow, this is getting more interesting as the story starts to unfold more. And so working with Giorgio, it really had a great skeleton team, but really needed to kind of make a more robust board, an active board for corporate governance, obviously. So just addressing valuation, but then the fact that most companies and lots of companies have to go through reverse. I know it's a painful exercise, reverse split. The concept is, they're in trouble. No, not in trouble, but we do need to do a reverse. It's going to be a 1 for 2,000. It will come out at market about 20 to 22 cents a share. There's a significant shareholder base in place now. We will protect the float. The filing has been, the 14C has been completed. We're waiting for response from the SEC and their feedback. And the proxy will clear, and then that will be us back in the game. So we'll be trading actively with a float. We'll protect that float. So looking forward here, and in consideration of revenue, there is actual revenue that is going to occur this year, and it's going to be substantial. Just on one of the apps, you've got PlayGig, Rock This, Ball, Loving Hip Hop, etc. Just on one app alone, we're talking about revenues into 6 months of over $380,000. The 12th month, we're talking about north of $2.5 million. I know that Giorgio has addressed a bit of their potential revenue on the hardware side. That could be extremely substantial as well. Actually, the manufacturing group has a line of credit in place. We're going to be turning on the spigot there. So revenue's coming in.
Mark, I'll add to that too, because I think we've never really talked to our shareholders and let them know sort of, and Howard, I'm sorry to be jumping into your sandbox, but since we're talking about finance, I think it's really important for investors to understand and shareholders to understand the way in hold on, let me rephrase. The value of the product in the market. And I think a very, very good example of this is to explain a very small order and what that can do for the company. And I know, Howard, you're going to talk about this a little more, but since we're talking about finance and restructure, I wanted to state this. If Big Shit were to sell one unit, one SKU, a 32-inch product, at 200 units per month, okay, just 200 units, we're talking about $750,000 per month for 12 months. That's $750,000 per month. And that's very, very big when you're talking about the fact that before we couldn't sell the product because of the fact that we couldn't manufacture it. Now we can manufacture, which gives Howard and his teams the ability to go out and sell, 1, manufacture, 2, and deliver, 3. So I wanted to make that clear. So I just wanted to interject that, Mark, because we are talking about finance. So please continue.
Yeah, thanks, G. And so, just carving that out a little more, product ready to go. It's we have a robust patent portfolio around this product. It's best in class in this vertical. It has a very strong price point for what it is offered as a unit. It has the highest possible quality and quality control. It's scalable, and it's cheap and efficient manufacturing. So that you can check out more online, right, guys? So at any rate, it's a very exciting situation. I've only been involved with 3 deals out of 17 years that had this much promise. This was probably 1 or 2 out of them. There's a couple transactions. This one is for real. So let me put it this way. This thing is real. It's happening, and so I'm very excited about it. You can tell I'm energetically involved, and I will remain involved with this particular company until we're at trading on NASDAQ, from my view. So thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you very, very much. Actually, exciting words from you. And I think it's really important to restate something that Mark said. Our valuation will change dramatically because of the way that we're restructuring and the type of company that we are. We're becoming a quite dynamic company with many offerings. But when you start looking at moving into the software world, Nixo becomes an entirely different animal, and we're competing in a different way. Competition is always steep in the consumer electronics industry. But when you start taking your opportunity to capitalize on software, I think we've got something very, very strong as a company. So the merger of these concepts between these products that we do, and you'll see more coming as 212's software platforms and Nixio software platforms start to integrate. You'll see more exciting stuff coming from us. We're already working on these things. So, Howard, why don't we let you take the floor and talk about what's going on in the operations?
Sure.
So, everyone, this is Howard Bloomberg. Howard Bloomberg is the Chief Operating Officer.
Let's talk for a minute, for a couple of seconds. I'm not going to be very long-winded on the whole presentation. We'll just cover a lot of facts. In terms of sales, we've had great success in presenting the Nixio product to several major retailers. And the common direction in retail has been, in fact, that they're heading toward a category called mobility. Everything needs to be mobile. Well, there's another segment in that convergence definition that dictates that the TV, the existing television, is really the center of the world. With the advent of the smart TV, which has limited capabilities, the success of that product has demonstrated that it is on its way to become the center of the home. There's a part of dealing with the TV that we've noted and has been noted by the industry, and that's called the second screen phenomenon. A lot of people are sitting in their chairs or on their couches watching TV, and in one hand they have their smartphone, or they have a notebook, or they have a tablet, And the purpose of that is that they can deal with their fantasy football team and watch the team play at the same time. QVC, HSN, and the rest of the online retailers require you to place an order, so they have to have a telephone available to place an order. We see that part of the convergence is I term as parallel convergence, and by parallel I mean that you have the mobility convergence, and now you have to recognize that there is an in-home convergence around the TV. In the office, in what we're discovering is that there are multiple channels. In the office, the computer is the center of the circle, and it's surrounded with VoIP, the ability to stream audio and video, as well as add independent screens for different things that the user has to see. The computer is and will continue to be the focal point in the office for communications and information collaboration. Also, at the same time, watching the trading screen and CNN, for example, we now believe is possible through the use of the Biosphere. One thing you should note is that the smallest screen we offer on the Biosphere is 32 inches, and there's a reason for that. And I'm going to jump off just slightly off topic for a second. We have always been asked the question about the cost of the Biosphere versus the cost of two independent products. And if you just simply take a look at the bust-out retail price for a 32-inch version, and you look at the average cost of an all-in-one computer, an average cost of a 32-inch TV, and then the average costs of the extra features that we have in the Biosphere to make life a lot easier to use as a single product, the premium is only $200 at retail. So there is very little difference in the competitive nature. Now, that gets better as the screen sizes get larger. Let me get back on subject here. The convergence, let's not forget something. There's a third channel here, a second channel, real channel, besides the TV in the home, besides the office. There's another channel, the classroom. In an education environment, right now schools are paying upwards of $5,000 for an intelligent 55-inch whiteboard. With a 65-inch Biosphere, not only can the teacher power the computer with networking to the students in the room via Wi-Fi, but also lesson share. They can share the lesson on screen with video seminars or educational TV shows for the same $5,000. Okay, a major savings and a major aid to the education business. Digital signage is something that we really almost never talk about. The Biosphere is a commercially built product. In other words, we build it to commercial specifications. We do not use plastic in the cabinetry. It's all metal. We use commercial glass, A glass from AUO, or is it AOU, G? I think it's AUO. And what it means is that it's a slightly higher resolution, but more importantly, it's a brighter, higher contrast screen. We use a commercial touchscreen. All of our units, from 32 to 65 inches, are all touchscreen units. I won't go too deeply into the specifications of the Biosphere, but if you can think about it being used on a computer or on a TV, it's built in. I don't care. I almost don't care what you think of it. We have a Blu-ray reader-writer. We have a terabyte drive. We've got 8 gig of RAM, communications capabilities beyond belief, including Wi-Fi, including Bluetooth, and goes on and on. The digital signage business enables us to place a product according to digital signage potential customers for us, and I say potential only because I don't have the POs yet, that we have the right price point for a unit that does not have to be reconfigured to be put in the field. It just needs to basically be plugged into a network central location that's called a NOC. And at the price points, at the capabilities, without having to open the box to reconfigure, which most of these folks have to do, and the fact that we have a commercially competent product, this is much to our advantage. So there are obviously very distinct channels that we have very strong advantages in. If we go to the office, the home, the classroom, and commercially the digital signage operations. Let's talk about distribution for a second. And I put Adorama under distribution. We are very supportive of Adorama and vice versa. Adorama, for those who may not know, is a very large New York-based retailer with a significant web presence, and most importantly right this minute to us is that they have an exclusive relationship with MetLife Stadium and the New York Giants. On October 12th, they published a first piece of advertising for Nixio in Giant Stadium in a presentation that was shown, and also on the radio. They have stepped up, and they have put up for winning a 42-inch biosphere. So they are absolutely at the top of the list right now for our support and them for us. We have, just so that you understand really what this relationship is about, it's not only the New York metropolitan or Giants area region, it's really a test of our abilities to see the reaction from one of the largest marketplaces in the country for electronics, consumer electronics and TVs, etc. The New York Giants and New York Jets representatives who run MetLife Stadium saw the product and have offered to allow us to replace every screen in Giant Stadium, in MetLife Stadium, with a Biosphere product. That's 2,300 units. This is obviously great a little bit more down the road. And then they said, well, if you can't swallow that bowling ball, let us give you something a little smaller than a bowling ball that you can think about swallowing it, and that's putting your units in every suite in the stadium. Now, for those of you who don't know, that's about 1,500 units. MetLife Stadium is the largest cash-generating venue in the world, according to these folks, with the possible exception of Yankee Stadium. And that exposure for concerts, for other events, everything from circuses to rodeos to concerts to football games, both on the college and high school level, is just simply enormous. So that's a great testament to the product and the feature set that we're looking at. Let me go to the last topic that I want to cover, and that's manufacturing. We face the same obstacles going into this that every company going to manufacture product in China faces. And we have overcome a tremendous set of obstacles very, very successfully, so much so that we have a manufacturer now who is beginning the expansion on his manufacturing floor for Nixio to move forward. That extra capacity will be on board early to mid first quarter, and that will include one of our people, a bilingual native of China, who understands QC, understands the manufacturing process, and will continue to help us grow the extra capacity and capability of each of our products. And just in conclusion, what I will say is that we are already looking at the roadmap, or we're well into the roadmap for the Biosphere for next year. And we are also well into the roadmap of bringing the other Nixio products to manufacturing and getting those into the marketplace as well. So from an operational standpoint, we have conquered the monster, and we are absolutely, without any equivocation, on the track of being able to grow this product, grow the product line, and stay ahead of any potential competition, because there is no competition right now. And this product is, in Latin, I think it goes el segundo. It's second to none. And that's what we're all about. The integration of the new patent-pending software into the Biosphere will just give us an incredible leap. And I don't know what's beyond genius, because right now this we call a genius TV. But whatever it is, we will be there. Maybe it's gifted, maybe it's something else, but it will be there, and it will be Nixio. Thanks, folks, for your time. G?
Thank you, Howard, very, very, very much. I'd like to add to a little bit of what Howard said. And, you know, many of our shareholders and our investors have wondered why we've had difficulties. And I want to make this very, very clear. It's not that Nixio has not been able to procure purchase orders. And I think a lot of you have seen what I wrote in the newsletter, whereby it's not that we can't sell. It was that we didn't have the ability to produce. There's many microcap companies. You run into these problems. And not just microcap companies. We're talking about large-scale companies, small-scale companies. Every company runs into a hurdle where, one, either they need more financing, or two, they've got to find a way to get the product into the market. Getting the product into the market and the buyers being receptive to our product has never been the challenge. It's always been, how much money do we need to make this happen? So with the fact that our manufacturing company has supported that, we have brand new investors that are hugely interested in supporting Nixio. And I want to add to something that Mark mentioned earlier, because I think this is really important. And it also touches on what Howard was saying in regards to our manufacturing. As a public company, people look at specifically, how do we invest in this company? Well, when we're talking to very large investors, which Mark, myself, John, Howard, Miriam, we've all talked to investors. At the end of the day, because it's frustrating and it's difficult, it is, and trust me, it was a very, very hard decision for us to even talk about a reverse, let alone decide that we had to do it. But I think sometimes we miss when we're discussing these types of things, and I think it's important to state, is that in order for us to support a large investment, the stock has to be at a certain place. It needs to be liquid. It needs to be able to support $1 million, $10 million, $20 million, $50 investment. But when the stock is sitting at the floor, and we're at 0001, 0002, anyone in here can imagine, or even try to figure out, how are we going to do this? How are we going to take an investment like this? And unfortunately, this is a decision that we had to make. And, you know, Mark stated it very well, is that it was a tough decision, but we had to do it. And it's not because we don't care about shareholders, we don't care about investors. We do. And in order to make the stock valuable for our shareholders, for investors, and for the company to receive large investments, because trust me, we are talking to people that are talking about substantial amounts of money. We had to do something to support those types of investment. And to add to that, with the acquisition of 212, it's important to know that they brought in shareholders as well. So when you talk about 40, 70 investors that are coming in, and Nixio supported this acquisition by a preferred stock at the 0001, 0002, even a 0003 stock, you can't support that type of investment without reversing the stock. So we want to make sure that we clarify with the shareholders and investors that this is a very difficult decision to make, but at the end of the day, it is truly beneficial to the company, shareholders, and investors. So I wanted to make that clear. So let's move on.
Can I just chime in real quick, since we were talking about the financing and everything? This is a good place to bring it in.
Sure.
Just that I wanted to mention that we are focused on growth and revenues, and we want to make sure that our proceeds are spent where it's going to develop new products and create multiple revenue streams. And we have some very conservative projections, for the next 3 years or so. And we feel we can easily obtain revenues in the, $4 to $5 million in the next 12 months, and that we can spiral that into about $20 million within 24 months, with tripling growth in subsequent years. So we are absolutely focused on product development that can transfer into revenue streams, and revenue streams we feel we can grow significantly. So I just wanted to put that in there. And
yeah, let me add to that, Miriam. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I don't think we've touched on that. We've touched on it a little bit, but thank you for bringing that up, as a matter of fact. One of the things I think that we forgot to mention is that because of the acquisition of 212 and because of Nixio's expansion, we are going down 3 parallel roads in 3 different verticals in regards to revenue. One is the hardware aspect of our company, pushing those products. 2 is our software, our new engine, our new operating system, and our new user interface. That alone by itself, we already have some very, very huge interest in licensing that product, which is part of the reason why it was developed, aside from the fact that we just wanted to change the market completely. And the third thing is 212's apps, and that is another revenue stream. And to add to that, with the expansion of the talent management portion of 212 to support their artists, that's actually another revenue stream as well. And there will be more to come from us on that aspect. So thank you, Miriam. I'm glad you touched on that. Did you have anything you wanted to add?
No. I think we should continue with the call.
I want to introduce Cynthia Cassar. Cynthia's just now getting up to speed with what we have going on in the company, the direction that we're going. So Cynthia, if you could take the floor and I'll sort of talk about the things that you see with the company and where we're going, and give some background to where you came, I think will be exciting to the rest of the people on the conference call.
Sure. I actually have over 22 years of experience in Silicon Valley with startup companies and in digital media, in digital entertainment, and I've also worked as a consultant to companies like Philips and Motorola. So I'm also familiar with the hardware side as well. So I actually became involved with 212 during its inception, and so I'm very familiar with what they're doing as well. And I've literally just gotten to wrap my head around everything that's going on with Nixio, and I think there are so many exciting things that we can move forward with, and especially on the strategic side. And so I do think this is a very, exciting time and road that we can embark upon, and, as we go, put a dynamic strategy in place that will support what everyone else has said, that we want to be a solid company that is revenue producing, as Miriam said, and have an exciting strategy and offering that consumers will resonate to. And so that, from an overall standpoint, is what we're striving to do. And the actual fine points of how we go forward will be forged strategically, as it always is, in a dynamic fashion, which is the heart of all strategy as we keep going, into the marketplace with this. So, and as the company, is going forward, and as Mark explained, everything that's being done is being done to, turn it into a strong force that can go forward into the marketplace.
Excellent. Thank you, Cynthia. So as we move forward, and Cynthia and myself and Mark and John and Howard and the entire team literally have all been discussing, our strategy and how we move forward. So Nixio's thinking is broad. We're not looking at this company as being a micro-cap company or a small company trying to accomplish some goals. We're we're looking at this in a global view, and we're looking at how do we take this company forward and make it a force that people have to compete against, not trying to, that they have to compete against. And I think that our product offerings right now are very strong, and I think this new era of the company, especially with the team that we have in place, I think it's going to entice more people to be looking at Nixio in an entirely different way, and hopefully have more shareholders being happy about the direction that we're going and the things that we're trying to accomplish. On that note, I'm going to move forward with marketing. Part of the biggest, I want to say one of the biggest assets that Nixio has is how we present ourselves to the market, right? Because of the fact that we have such compelling products, first to market in every category that we've released product in. And I think some of the things we have coming along, even like what Howard was talking about with the Giants and that marketing campaign. So we're looking at how do we market our company. We've got to do it in multiple ways. One, we need to go down this road of what is this corporate overview, and what are the paths we need to go down, and then these separate entities that we're looking at. So we needed a marketing person that was, one, very well-rounded, and two, understood technology, and three, understood how to tell a compelling story that makes people understand this company is something amazing, not just, oh, another technology company. So we got the opportunity to meet Lorian Sikora, and I'm going to put Lorian on the phone now so she can tell you about her ideas for marketing. Lorian?
Thank you, Giorgio. My name is Lorian Sikora, and I am a communications specialist. My background includes the support of politicians, artists, nonprofits, schools, a diverse stable of clients that have enabled me to understand a lot about human nature and a lot about how marketing can be superbly effective when done right. And I'm excited by all of the opportunities here in front of us. Pardon the siren. It's quite exciting to see everything that's possible for this company, for Nixio. The possibilities are truly endless, and we do not have an uphill battle of getting ourselves in front of a market. We have a market ready and waiting, and we are looking forward as a company to communicating effectively and creatively where we're going and what we're doing, and bringing people along with us.
Okay. Thank you, Lorian. Much appreciated. And Lorian's come on. She's been here a few weeks. She's actually tailored a lot of the things that we're trying to accomplish, and I'm very, very, very pleased with her work as of now. There's some very strong things she's putting together, and some of the relationships that she has, I think are going to be very, I think are going to prove to be very exciting in the near future. So she's actually creating some marketing plans associated with what we have going on with the Giants right now. She's working on some of the things with the artists associated with 212, preparing some marketing material for that, sort of how we interact with their audience. And I think one of the key things that's really, really strong for us, as John mentioned earlier, is that through the Play Gigit app, and as you mentioned, the 400 million people associated with that, these are all users, Nixio has the opportunity to capitalize on those 400 million users. That's, I mean, when you think about that, how we can push content and deliver marketing materials and sales opportunities and a number of these things through social media, I mean, that is absolutely amazing. So our marketing opportunities have increased dramatically just via 212's Play Gigit app and the number of users associated with that. So that's really, really exciting from our standpoint. I mean, you're looking at the ability to reach 400 million people. I mean, I don't know how else you can say. That is absolutely outstanding. So we're going to move forward. As everyone knows, we also have a social media department, and I'm going to put the head of social media on the phone to talk about his concepts and how we drive forward with social media. So, Reese, please continue.
Thanks, G. If I'm coming through loud and clear, I'll just go ahead and start. Social media is a very dynamic environment insofar as how is it that we relate to the public and how is it that we propagate our marketing initiatives through those mediums. So Facebook essentially is a hub for social media because of the capabilities inherent in the design. Now, to piggyback on that idea, we will also be featuring the Gigit apps and feature applications that will be coming out of the Nixio software arm 212. Now, I'm sure many of you have experienced, you've seen newsletters, public, information, press releases, and other pertinent information being released recently via social media. That's going to increase, as well as opportunities to win products and software as time progresses with our contests and giveaways. Now, we encourage people to interact with us on social media because we believe in the power of the public opinion, and we certainly look forward to delivering exciting news as time progresses for Nixio.
Thank you, Reese. Okay, so everyone, we want to thank you for joining. I think as we move forward as a company and you start looking at things coming from marketing and from announcements coming from social media and how we drive forward with our finance and how we release brand new products, and you see Nixio coming together as a whole, and then you see some brand new opportunities also coming from our entertainment division, EEI. There are two other gentlemen that are actually joining that team. They're probably listening in on the call today, which as a matter of fact, I'm sure they are. The president of that division, his name is Donnie Royal, and then the vice president is Rashawn Hudson. So those two gentlemen have already been working on a number of things in regards to the division of EEI. So you'll see some exciting things coming from that, especially by social media. So I guess right now, I think we're going to be opening up for a question and answer. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. So let's see. Reese, how did you want to handle that? Let's see if there's if anyone has any questions. So if anyone has any questions, you can post here or via the Investor Hub or a number of the other places that I believe that we're on right now. So if there's any questions, now's a good time to ask.
Yes, there is a question that has, so as I posted on the Facebook page, we encourage people to pose questions via conference call at nixio.com. If you're listening now, I encourage you to do the same, simply because, for having people talk over each other and just for, the structure of the meeting's sake, unless you post a question in the chat, we can, certainly address those as time progresses.
Are there any questions on iHub right now, Reese?
Not on iHub directed towards the conference call that I can see, but something that came through to conference call at nixio.com is, and this is a common theme I think that was touched on, and not to beat a dead horse, but what does the reverse split truly mean for the future of Nixio and for us, shareholders on the sidelines?
Mark, would you like to take that one?
Yeah, I mean, again, I've been an investor, angel, and otherwise in companies, and I've gone through this process. George has as well on Insider. But the reality is, with the reverse split, if you make it concurrent with actual very positive news, then we'll survive through it, and we won't see the downward pressure on pricing. So when we have this incredible merger with many intangibles that we haven't even touched upon with 2-on-2, there's a sinuous, working around one of the most advantageous market verticals there is. We're crossing music, entertainment, social media, mobile devices. So, and then on top of that, we're going to be also announcing financing. So we've got that covered. and we know we're going to come out of the gates looking pretty strong. So I don't really see a real issue here with this reverse. We have to do it. Companies don't do it because they want to, but we have to because they have to make it palatable for taking in financing. So the reality is, I don't believe in this particular case we're going to see the downward pricing and pressure on stock here. We're going to maintain a float, and we're going to be buying. We're going to be people around our table who have deep pockets. You know, we have a number of investors actually on 2-on-2. I'm aware of they're into the hundreds of millions of dollars of personal net worth. So no one's going to let this deal fall apart. We're going to come out strong, and this is going to be a very, very structured restructuring. We're going to keep our valuation and stick to it, and we're going to follow through an execution strategy for our product line. That would be my answer.
Fantastic. That's very well put. And that actually does segue into another question that's come through, which is, you know, how is it that we can truly post, you know, pose 2 units against 1 unit? Who is going to buy 2 units? And I suppose, Howard, if you could answer that. And so I believe they're talking about, you know, purchasing an all-in-one and then a smart TV. You know, like, who would do that? And, you know, the answer, in my opinion, I actually know people who do that. So, Howard, if you'd like to extrapolate on that.
Sure. It's, first of all, there's nothing like our product in the marketplace today. And if somebody is in the market for an all-in-one, the biggest screen they can get is probably 23 inches. I think there's probably a 26 or 27 around someplace, but that would be outrageously expensive. At the same time, it doesn't have the feature set that our built-in PC has in any way, shape, or form. There's no optical drive usually. Yeah, we both have touch screens, and the list goes on and on and on. In the same cabinet, taking up the same footprint for only, in the 32-inch case, a $200 premium, okay, he can get a high-quality, high-definition TV, and I would guarantee one thing. If you have a computer now, and if you ever tried dual screens on your computer, you'd never go back. It is the greatest shortcut to doing your work than anybody can ever dream of. I use it. Most people that I know, if they've tried it, they're using it. The idea of being able to do true 2 things at once is just amazing for some people. It's a work saver. It's an economical way to deal with not having, you know, a TV in one room, a TV in a second room, and a PC or a notebook that you pick up and carry from room to room. It is the solution to a lot of convergence issues. It's definitely a solution to the second screen phenomenon.
One of the things that we should also keep in mind is that the brand new products coming from Mixio, especially the new software, allows for not just, you know, a second window, it allows for many windows. For instance, on a 32-inch product, we're looking at 9 windows. On a 42-inch, it's 12. On a 55, it's 15. And on a 65, it's 18 windows. This means different channels for audio and different channels of selection, separating those items for the living room environment and interaction. So there are multiple windows coming in the near future from Mixio's new software.
In the big screen biosphere, the audio system inherent in the units are I believe they're all 7.1, and there's a lot of easy interface to HDMI utilizable sound systems. So you're not going to get that without spending a ton of extra money for yet a separate piece of equipment, an AV receiver, for example, to get that kind of performance in your living room.
Right. Okay. Reese, what's next?
Actually, I'm loading the Facebook page as we speak. It's just that the bandwidth is acting up because of the...
It looks like we've got a question directly on here.
Yes, there's that too. From Sam? Yeah.
And Sam's question is, Mark, this might be for you or me, but any reason why the authorized share count should still remain 8 billion? Does this imply equity financing that would dilute into the float? You want to talk about that, Mark?
Why don't you handle that one there?
All right. So when we discussed doing the reverse, we decided to leave the Treasury as it was, the authorized, not what we're talking about in outstanding what will be released to the market. In order to do investments, we needed enough shares to support large investments, not 50,000 or 100,000. We're talking about $1 million investments or more. So if we reverse the stock and we're at 20, 30 cents, and someone wants to put $10 million into the company, we wouldn't have the shares to support that if we rolled back to 5 million, 10 million, 20 million shares in authorized. So let me put it this way, because we're anticipating larger investments, and we've been talking to a number of investors, and I mean, we're not talking about the types of investments that we were doing before. We're talking about large investments. You have to be able to support that. So when you're stating dilution, when you're doing private offerings, it's not the same as a convertible debt. So if you're saying if we got $100,000 on a convertible note, which means that yes, we'd be looking at dilution because in 6 months those people would be selling their shares to the market to regain their return on investment. But when you're talking about large investments, these are private offerings whereby they are restricted to generally like 12 months or more. They're a long-term holder instead of a short-term. So dilution doesn't really count when we're looking at those types of investments. It's an entirely different model in regards to finance and restructure and direct investments to the company. I hope that answers your question, Sam.
And follow up on that, there is roughly $2 million preferred remaining, $2 million worth preferred remaining for anyone on the call or anyone that might be interested post-merger.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So a question that has been posed to the Nixio Technologies page is how many biospheres have you already sold? What other companies are looking to sell them for you?
I'll answer a portion of that, and then I'll let Howard pick that up. Before we got to this place, Nixio sold a few hundred units, nothing like in the thousands, because as I relayed earlier, when we're talking about selling, and by the way, Sam, I'm glad that that made more sense to you. I appreciate the response. But when you're talking about selling product, you can't sell product with no support for manufacturing. It's impossible. So have we received POs? Yes. Many, as a matter of fact. That's never, ever, ever been the problem. So I think as we go down this new road, and the fact that we know that we can sell, it's a different type of era. We're in a different place. And Howard's actually sold, and Howard and his team has actually sold, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of product. The company couldn't get the investors to buy in, which we absolutely didn't understand. And I don't want to talk about the negativity of the past. I really don't. What I'd like to talk about is where we're going, because now we have a manufacturer in place that has the equity line for us to be able to support in selling product. That's one of hands down, aside from the acquisition of 212, hands down, that is the most exciting thing that has ever happened to this company. Hands down. The ability for us to support our own manufacturing and sell product into the market without worrying about how we're going to financially support it. So a lot of people don't understand that or didn't know that we'd already received a number of POs. And I don't know how much you can talk about the companies that we receive those POs from, Howard, but if that's okay, you probably should.
Well, let's just say that we have taken orders in excess of $300,000.
And that's just been what, in the past few months, right?
No, that's yes, in the past few months. The history is somewhat academic. I expect within the next several weeks, we will have established two new channels of distribution. One with one of the top 5 distributors in consumer electronics in the world, and another with another channel being digital signage. And the numbers we're talking about there are also huge. And they require, every one of them requires investment. Investment in marketing assistance, co-op investment, upfront investment in training, and a whole bunch of other things that we could not do until now. And the doors get flung open. We're very close to consummating a deal with an extraordinarily large evaluated reseller, or VAR, who has done more stadiums than any other VAR in the country. We're talking to the major retailers who are just waiting for a distribution channel to come on board before they can place their orders with them. We have we have a desire on the part of Radio Shack, and let's not talk about their credit rating right now. We're talking right now about their franchisees who do have a good credit rating, and also their concept stores. One of the early inquiries was Walmart. And it blew me away, because this is a very high-tech product. It's fairly expensive. But Walmart wants into the technology part of the market, and they have to do it because their fruits and vegetables business is not holding them together. The office channel, because of their own policies, they will be going through distribution, because not everybody wants to sell product of this size, of this value, on consignment. They will go through distribution, and the distributor that we expect to have on board is more than big enough to handle that entire channel, as well as several others. So those two channels, or mini channels, for example, the VAR channel, the digital signage, that company also does an incredible amount of business in the education channel. And they would love to be able to get out of the $5,000 55-inch whiteboard and into our $5,000 65-inch biosphere. So it's just a matter of being able to put the deals together in a fashion that makes financial sense. And that's where we can go from here on.
All right. Next question, Reese.
Actually, it looks like that's about it to wrap it up. I'm checking all of the components that we have in play, and that's all the questions.
All right. Perfect. Well, thank you, everyone, for your time. Nixio team, I'm very grateful for you guys being on the call. Everyone did very well. Hopefully we can get some things off onto the videos onto our website fairly soon, so you guys can see what we do. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email them, and we'll